And now, Lifestyles Unlimited presents the Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Over the next hour, we unfold your map to financial freedom. You'll learn how to retire through investing in single-family and multifamily real estate. You'll learn how to create cash flow and build wealth so you can have the time and money to live the lifestyle you want.
Hello and welcome to the show. This is Andy Webb with Lifestyles Unlimited. And as always, we're working on your financial freedom. And I thank you for joining me today. We're going to talk today about, well, really the question, why do we do what we do as real estate investors? What's the reason? And this may generate some questions on your side, or maybe you can give me your reasons if you are an investor. You can send those to me at askandy@luinc.com. Again, askandy@luinc.com. And I was thinking about this just the other day. It was a Tuesday, middle of the week. Middle of the day, in fact. I had taken my son and some of his neighborhood friends to the city pool. It was middle of the day, so it wasn't terribly crowded. And I was floating around on an inner tube in the lazy river, just dipping my head back in the water and looking at the clouds and whatnot. And it occurred to me, it's not crowded because people don't have time to come right now. Middle of the day, right? Everybody's working, but not me. I bought back my time through real estate investing, and that's one of the reasons why people do invest in real estate. So that's the question. Why do we do what we do as real estate investors? And there are a lot of reasons. There's a broad array of answers to this question, and some of the answers might surprise you. And we're going to explore these, and I've kind of sorted these into, maybe it's an arbitrary ordering, more or less based on my personal experience as an investor and seeing what those around me are doing and have done. But I've kind of created sort of these into three levels. The first level is simply we're doing this to create extra income. I just need a little bit more income coming in every month. Maybe it's a few $100s to as much as a few thousand, right? Extra income and building wealth. Those are kind of first level reasons people start to invest, get to thinking about even doing this thing, right? And then second level, it gets a little more advanced. Now you're thinking about protecting that wealth and protecting that cash flow. And that might be using real estate as an inflation hedge, maybe using real estate because of the tax advantages, maybe simply parking wealth in a safe place. And I'll explain what I mean. And then third level reasons, these are a little more esoteric, a little more advanced perhaps, and we'll get to those, okay? And these are really where you want to land, And again, these are just grouped based on my experience, and you, if you are an investor, you have your own. But why? To the question, why do we do what we do as real estate investors? And by the way, these things can be achieved whether you're investing in single-family rental houses, which is how I started a dozen years ago, or investing in apartments, or both. And you're listening now to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. How does Lifestyles Unlimited fit into the picture? And I want to touch on that just briefly so you understand. And for me, well, the question, what is Lifestyles Unlimited? Perhaps let's answer that. It's a life changer. The organization is a life changer. And I say that because I joined over a dozen years ago, started buying single family houses following the roadmap that was presented to me at Lifestyles Unlimited, doing the things I was taught, and it changed my life and the life of my wife, our family. And I see that all the time across the membership base. Now, what are we doing exactly? Education and mentoring. Lifestyles Unlimited is an education and mentoring group, and it's been around a while, quite a long time, founded in Houston in 1990 by Del Walmsley. I hope you've heard that name. He's got a radio show, he's got a podcast as well. You can go to lifestylesunlimited.com to hear his show, plus our other real estate investor radio show hosts. But been around a very long time, over 3 decades, and I think that track record alone speaks volumes. Membership base over 50,000 members, and thousands have achieved what they've targeted, right? The whys that we're going to talk about today by investing in real estate. And what we do is we teach you at Lifestyles Unlimited how. We teach you how to invest in single family and in apartments, and we mentor you along the way. There are mentors that are by your side that you can reach out to when you need help. And we're talking today about the why, the reasons that people do this, but it is often the how that gets in the way. When you hear the message on the radio today or on the podcast and you're thinking about these reasons and you're thinking, I could use some extra cash in my pocket every month, or I do want to build wealth for my heirs, or I do need an inflation hedge right now, or some of those tax advantages, then you encounter that hurdle, which is, but I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to start. I don't know how to find that dilapidated single family house or maybe that small multifamily. I don't know how to find it. I don't know how to renovate. I don't know how to lease it up and then how to manage it. Well, that's where we help you. That's where we help you. And I think you'll find once you do get started, whether it's in a single family property or in apartments as a syndicator, if you want to put together big deals, or maybe you're just buying your own small multifamily, or maybe you want to invest passively. We talk about all those things. We teach you how to do all those things, and we show you the how. And we're heading into a quick break here. I want to, on the back end there, we're going to hit those first level reasons. And I think that's probably very important for a lot of people out there right now, building extra income. I know we're getting mixed messages on the economy, right? It just tanked. It's clawed its way back up. What's going on? Is inflation bested? Has it been conquered? Is it coming back? It's up and down. Regardless of what's happening in the economic cycle or the political cycle, the things that we're going to talk about today, you can start to work on those. I'm going to start with a broad topic, and we talk about this a lot. And a big reason is simply that unlike your 401k, unlike gold, unlike many other investment opportunities out there, when it comes to houses and apartments, we make money multiple ways. We make money 5 ways on our houses. There's cash flow, there's equity capture, there's equity buildup, market appreciation, and tax advantages. And when it comes to apartments, a 6th way is forced appreciation. And we've talked about these in a variety of levels of detail on various shows out there. You can catch some of those shows at lifestylesunlimited.com, but keep those in mind because those will fuel part of our discussion, and I'll probably define some of those as we go. But when I get to one of those first level reasons to invest, why people think about doing this thing, why they entertain the idea, whether they start or not, right? There's that big barrier of how. I don't know how. You can learn that, but a big reason is just simply creating extra income. This is a huge one. This is a very large one right now. You create some breathing room in your life right now. When you buy one single family rental house, you're going to create an additional anywhere from $200 to $600 per month. It depends on the house. It depends on the market. And that may be Texas. That may be Tennessee. That may be Kansas City. That may be somewhere in the country where Lifestyles Unlimited is present to support you. Or you may do this on your own in your market. That's great too. But you create extra cash flow, extra income. $200 to $600 per month on one house. And cash flow, let me define that. That is so this is a rental house. I rent it to somebody, they pay me rent. That's my gross rent, and I pay the expenses out of that, and the net cash flow at the end of the day, that's my profit. That's what I keep. And expenses, that's typically my principal and interest because I have a mortgage, my taxes, my insurance. Now, if you're following the Lifestyles Unlimited model and the motto of best product, best price, and we've talked about this on other shows. We're going in and fixing everything up front. So that notion of maintenance, Andy, what about maintenance? Where's that expense? It goes away. We address that at the outset. So it really is gross rent minus PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance gives me my net. That's my cash flow. And again, that extra income is very helpful. I mean, inflation, is it gone? Is it still here? Well, I'll tell you one thing. My grocery bill is still a lot higher now than it was a year ago. And then it was a year before that. So yeah, extra income helps right now. And as other bills increase, whether it's your utility bills or cost of daycare, etc., you can easily add more cash flow. Go from $200 a month to $400 to $800 to $1,200 to $5,000. Because what you'll find is once you've figured out the how, once you've learned the how, let us taught you the how to do these things, the process is easy to repeat. And I learned that years ago. Bought one house, then quickly bought the next. The next after that, just started stacking that cash flow, extra income. Big, important reason why people do this. The other one is building wealth. And when I talked about the ways we make money, cash flow, that's a big piece. We want it to cash flow, but there are multiple equity plays in there that help us build that wealth. Equity capture by far right now is the biggest one because I can buy a house for $20,000 out of pocket, just pulling a number out of the air here, and double my money instantly just because I've bought right, bought at a discount because it does need work, and I've added value by going in and renovating. That's the how that we teach you. And at the end of the day, I don't have $20K invested in the property, but now I have a net $40 because I've created an additional equity buffer there. So that building wealth is typically something else people are thinking about when they get started. I've got some capital. I don't want to put it in the stock market because, hey, it just crashed again. And it's going to crash again. Where can I put it to really build wealth? I control. You have the control when you're doing this in single family houses. So those are the two big first level reasons I think that people consider when they think about investing in real estate. Another one that occurred to me is some people just, hey, I want to build something. I want to create a business. I feel a little entrepreneurial today when I woke up. Maybe I'm bored. Maybe I'm retired already, need something to do and have some capital to deploy. So looking for something to do. And this, again, might be the retiree, or this might be the stay-at-home spouse, the wife or the husband, right? Wanting to help bring in more income to that earlier notion for the family and wanting to build a business. This is a great way to do it. And I would encourage you that when you go about this, some people think of it as a hobby. I dabble in real estate. Don't do that. Treat it as a business. But when you think about it as a business, a big hurdle I see a lot of people confronted with, sometimes it stops them in their tracks, is things like, well, they put barriers in their own way. Well, I need to form an LLC, a limited liability corporation, first. No, you don't. I need to build a website first so I can market my properties. No, you don't. I need to come up with a cool DBA, doing business as, cool company name first. No, you don't. These things will slow you down. In fact, we teach you don't need any of this stuff. To buy your first rental house, you need to get an education first, and that's it. So do I need to get an education first? Yes, I agree with that sentiment. And going back to what we said earlier, that's what we do at Lifestyles Unlimited. We teach you the how, because you need to know how. And we do that at the expo as well. So lots of places to go to learn, to do these things, to how to do them. The trick is to get started and don't put those arbitrary hurdles in your way. Now, when we come back, we're going to start to look at some of those second level reasons because now you've progressed as an investor and you're looking at things from a different perspective.
Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show returns in a moment. Got questions? Go to lifestylesunlimited.com.
Del Walmsley interviews Chad and Lisa.
This property, for you to have done what you've done, won the award, changed it around, done all the rehab, has got to be worth a lot more.
We purchased it for $8.275, and it's worth $19 million now. So
wait, whoa. That is incredible. I can see why you won an award, and that's great.
Lifestyles Unlimited. Over 33 years teaching the real estate retirement roadmap. Text the word radio to 88007 for a $297 membership. Save $443 off the regular price. Text radio to 88007.
Creating the lifestyle you've always wanted. You're hearing Lifestyles Unlimited's Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome back. We're in the second half of the show. I'm your host, Andy Webb. If you have any questions for me, send those over to askandy@luinc.com. Again, askandy@luinc.com. And we're talking today about reasons why we do what we do. Why have you been investing in single-family rental houses for a dozen years and apartments for maybe half of that? What's the draw? What's the reason? And we talked about some first-level reasons at the start of the show. These are things I think most people are considering when they want to get into this space: creating income, building wealth, maybe building a business. That kind of all goes part and parcel. And then you grow. And maybe you've already grown to a point, you're just now getting started, and these, what I'm calling second level, maybe these are your primary reasons to start with. This is just my arbitrary outline, let's say. But for a lot of people, the second level is protecting that cash flow. You've built the cash flow, you're building the wealth, or you've built the wealth, and you want to protect those things. And real estate is a very good tool to do that. Big topic are the tax advantages. That's one of the ways that we make our money with our houses and our apartments, in fact, are through the tax advantages. And thinking about the hold period before I get to the gain, if you're doing it right, you pay low to no taxes on that cash flow. Right? That's thanks to something called depreciation. My mortgage interest helps as well, by the way, getting to expense those things. But low to no taxes on the cash flow does not push up that burden to the IRS. But then when it does come time to sell, there are limited to possibly even no taxes upon sale. So you're going to hold this. It is not a short-term investment is a long-term investment, which means you hold it for a year and a day. And that rolls you into, in the eyes of the IRS, that rolls you into the capital gains territory. And that by itself already is lower taxes. I mean, come on, if you're working a high-income job, you know you're way up there. Well, this is not going to be up there in that stratosphere, right? Depending on your income level, that will affect the percentage capital gains that you pay, but it's low. It is relatively low. But if you don't want to pay any at all, you can use the tax advantage, which is called the 1031 exchange, because you're growing your business and you can sell that, roll those gains into the next investment, defer those taxes. Building a business, if you're a stay-at-home spouse, wife or husband, and the working spouse is a high-income earner, well, you can become a real estate professional and use all your losses. There are limitations to the normal status, but when you become a real estate professional, you can deploy all those losses now and against earned income. That's a conversation for another time. We talk about that, for example, at our 2-day financial freedom seminar. That's probably a topic that would come up at the Wealth and Passive Income Expo as well. But those are tax advantages. And I already mentioned something else out there where real estate helps us, and that is against inflation. Real estate is the best inflation hedge. I'm going to tell you right now, once you figure out the how to do these things, it becomes very easy. It's a repeatable process. You can do it over and over and over again very, very easily. And that's the beauty with single family. You create a little extra cash flow, then you double it, you triple it, you quadruple it, it grows. And typically those are the reasons people start. I need more income. I need more cash flow. I don't have enough money with inflation, with bills being where they are, higher grocery bills, etc. So let's create some extra income. And you do that and you do it again and again. And you start to ease from that first level reason you started past those second level reasons we just talked about and into the third level. And the big one, and I opened the show this way, we're working on your financial freedom. And you get there. Big, big reason to do this. And it is not always on everybody's radar when they start. But you will eventually find yourself here if you do the things we teach you and do them consistently over time. You're going to build up a big pool of cash flow that's coming in every month. That's what we did. And at some point, you'll hit that financial freedom. And let me define that for you. That is essentially, I look at it two different ways. I think, again, here, first and second level. The first level is you've built up that passive income through your real estate investments, whether houses or apartments, to the point where every month you have that income coming in and it either meets or it exceeds your monthly household expenses. Well, you're already financially free there. All of your life obligations are now being met by passive income. Do you need to work? Well, you may want to work. A lot of people continue to work because they like what they do, or they like having now not a single barrel income, but double barrel. Man, both of those things coming in, that is some growth. If you can hold on to that job a little longer and keep working, man, you will see some massive growth. You've doubled your income, or you've met your expenses anyhow. And that takes me to the second notion, that second level, which is not just meeting or exceeding our monthly expenses, but meeting or exceeding our monthly income from that very job. And here I would encourage you to think about this at the net level, because you earn an income, you pay those earned income taxes to the government every year, you have some net. Well, with our property, with our real estate investments, as we talked about already, one of the tax advantages, we have low to no taxes on our cash flow because of the way that we've built the process here. So if you're going to compare apples and apples, you want to compare your net income to what you need to earn as an investor. Now, you might factor in, I don't know, the cost of health insurance through your employer. Sure, that's something else that's going to be present if you quit your job that is not there now. And you might factor in any savings cost, so to speak, contribution to that 401k that you're doing now, throwing that money down that black hole, losing control, no cash flow, etc. Maybe add those on top. But when you've met or exceeded that monthly income, you are no longer dependent on that job. You've already met your expenses. Now you've met your income and beyond. You can retire. So you achieve your financial freedom, and then you buy back your time. You can, boy, you've created a lot of options here. You've created a lot of flexibility and a lot of options you can retire. I did it at 47. A lot of people I know have done it earlier. Wish I'd started sooner. Wish I knew about this whole thing a decade before I began. But you can retire earlier. I chose to go part-time for a period of time. Thinking about those health insurance costs, I maintained 24 hours a week for a couple of years. Eventually got tired of that as well. Gave my notice, moved on, which is why I was floating around on an inner tube on the lazy river at our city pool on a Tuesday afternoon, looking at the clouds and thinking about you and the reasons you might consider investing. And this is a big one. Financial freedom, and now we've bought back our time. And these all play together now because you've built a business. You've created cash flow, and you can continue to grow that because you now have the skill set. You've learned how to do it from an education and mentoring group like Lifestyles Unlimited or whatever you have out there. Get that education and get that process started. Financial freedom comes, you bought back your time, and then those third level reasons, things you didn't think about before, they start to come into play. You have more time to focus on your, let's say, inner circle, including yourself. That's your friends, your family. You're no longer tethered to a desk for 8, 10, 12 hours. I was just talking with a fellow investor, bought his first house. I think he just closed on his second. Closed on that second house, all the while working 12-hour days in the weeks leading up to closing on that house. Now, he's not achieved financial freedom. He's not fully bought back his time, but he's clearly marching down that path to where those 12-hour days can go away. No longer commuting to work, there and back again forever, which here in Dallas-Fort Worth, where I sit right now, is getting worse and worse. So you have time to focus on friends, family, yourself, floating around in the lazy river at the city pool with your son. And self-focus, I think, is something I see a lot of people enjoy here as well, whether that's getting in shape, having time to go to the gym, not having to worry about being too tired at the end of a 12-hour day and commuting to and from work. You can go because you have the energy and you have the time. Or taking family trips and hiking. That's what I love to do. If you've heard me broadcast from the RV bunker, I'm probably shutting down the radio show, shutting down the podcast, getting out the door, going hiking with my wife and my son. And very big item. Goes along with the self-focus, I think, is learning to relax. We've become a very high-stress population right now, and I think with things percolating in the economy and in the political space, it's getting worse and worse. And I find that when you've built your financial freedom, you have your cash flow, you have your flexibility, you have your options, you're not dependent on whatever's going on in those other spheres. Because we make our economies, whether the economy's up or down, we're buying and we are creating income, we are creating wealth, regardless. And you learn to relax. You learn to shed that stress. Look around you, it's pretty prevalent right now. You may find yourself grinding your teeth, and this is a way to get away from that. Financial freedom, buying back your time, self-focus, focus on your inner circle. And one other reason I find people get into at this point as well is not just your inner circle, but expanding that outward. And this goes back to building wealth. One of those first level reasons people typically start alongside creating extra income is building wealth. And that wealth is not necessarily for them today, but forward looking for those heirs, for me, for my son, right? Maybe you have kids, maybe you have grandkids that you're thinking about, or maybe outside of that family sphere, you've got your favorite charities. People tend to become more philanthropic because they can be. You may have tithed 10%, whatever, in the past, but now you have more financial firepower to do even more. It's hard to do that when you don't have an income that gets you to the grocery store and gets you out of the grocery store with the groceries that you need. But once you've built that cash flow and that wealth, you can focus outward. And that's what I see a lot of investors do. And lest I forget, the people that make this possible are residents. We focus on putting great properties out into the market for great people. We do our tenant screening. We learn all about that stuff as part of the how. But we're giving people out there a great place to live. We're creating jobs for our contractors. I was just texting with a contractor over the break doing some renovations for me right now. What do I want to do in this situation, etc. So we're creating jobs. We're giving back. So a lot of reasons that you find yourself having arrived at that maybe you didn't think about when you started. So first, second, third level reasons, just how I think about it. You think about it how you want. Just remember, most of what we talked about, we're able to achieve through real estate investing because it is such a versatile space. Where else do you make money 5 ways? Well, on your single-family rentals, 6 ways on apartments. But again, as I said already, as versatile as it is, it's very easy to repeat the process over and over and over again until that cash flow has grown, you've gotten that financial freedom, you've bought back your time, you're doing philanthropic things out in the world. You take what you learn and you magnify it. So if I want to summarize this, why do we do what we do as real estate investors? Well, let me ask you, why would you like to become a real estate investor? Ask yourself that now. Is it that extra income that we talked about, just to create that extra income right now? Is it to build wealth for your heirs or some philanthropic goal? Is it the tax and inflation advantages? Maybe you have a business, you need to figure out how to pay less taxes. Is it to buy back your time by achieving financial freedom? Or is it just to go out and, man, I have a lot of fun in this space, I'll tell you that. Maybe it's just to have some fun like most real estate investors that I know do. Whatever your reason is, it doesn't matter. And these will evolve. These will absolutely evolve over time. Believe me, I speak from experience here. Whatever your reason, the best thing you can do right now is get started. And if you don't know the how, we teach you. So go to our website, go to lifestylesunlimited.com and learn more about what we do. Click on the free workshop. Explore the podcasts out there. Listen to what Del Walmsley has to say, the other hosts. But above all, as you explore, remember, it's not the money, it's the lifestyle. You have a good day.
The information and opinions you hear on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show are those of the hosts, guests, and callers. The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.